Hey there, Cowboys Nation. It's time again for some hit sticks from the Star in Frisco with former Cowboys Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us. Let's try and figure out what went right and what went wrong for the Cowboys in their loss against the Green Bay Packers and how they can turn it around against the Minnesota Vikings. Madden NFL 23, it's hit sticks. This week on Hit Sticks, we take a look back at the 31-28 loss for the Dallas Cowboys up against the Green Bay Packers. It was a game where not a whole lot went right for the Cowboys, especially in the run defense. They allowed 200 yards on the ground, but they also allowed 3 passing touchdowns to Aaron Rodgers. All 3 went to Christian Watson. This was the final of those 3 scores. It was a play action for Rodgers, threw off his back foot, and he found Christian Watson streaking over the middle in the end zone. He was wide open. So how can you get open for 3 touchdowns? Barry Church, in Madden NFL 23, I want you to outline it for me. Why did this happen, and how could Dallas find a way to stop it?
Well, one thing, Kyle, things happen extremely fast in the red zone. The target limiting area is super tight right there. They're on the 10-yard line right there, so things are going to happen extremely fast. Defensively, that means you have got to have your communication skills on point. As we see Boss Man Fat over there in the slot over top of Watson right there. I'm sorry, Kelvin Joseph. If we look at there right there, he's got to make sure he has inside leverage right there. If he has inside leverage, he's able to cut off all that inside route, and he'll have the ability to make sure he can run with this guy all the way on the other side of the field. Next, we look at Curse, the strong safety down there by the tight ends. He can help this whole defense out by realizing if this 2 tight end set over there blocks, he can slough off in what we call Ed Reed, which is just make a play. Read the quarterback's eyes and help on any crossers coming across the field. Curse has a perfect opportunity to do so, and I'm going to illustrate how he can help those guys when those crossers come across the field. But essentially, this defense has got to have the communication skills on point. They didn't have it on Sunday, but we're going to recreate what should have happened on Sunday.
All right, let's make it do what it do.
Let's do what it do. Okay, he's
Action,
locking up.
there
Let
it
me
is.
slough off.
Boom. Oh,
But
okay.
see, he was there to help, though.
I see. I see exactly what you're talking about. Let's go ahead and take a look at it on the instant and read to the play, and so that everybody can understand exactly how you can help. So right over here, all right, this is exactly what we were talking about in terms of right here is Curse, but in the game it was obviously Donovan Wilson. But we're going to see here. This is a responsibility. His responsibility right off the back are these tight ends. That is man coverage. So as we go ahead and snap the ball, first thing you're going to see, as soon as he sees his pass blocking right here, now this is what you're talking about, BC. Now he can turn his eyes and get back to the receivers because you already mentioned it. They didn't have inside leverage. They did not have inside technique. So they are literally welcoming him to run to the field for whatever reason, right? So right here, since they're welcoming him, they should be a pass off to our good old Curse on this play, Donovan in the game, which allows for him to then sit back into the zone because he no longer has a threat in front of him. Now he can see the ball coming towards him. He can ensure that if he needed to, he can come downhill and get those tight ends if they were to come out to the flat. And ultimately, force an incompletion. That did not happen this weekend.
So in this case, the Cowboys were successful in trying to slow down the Green Bay Packers, at least on this attempt. They were not in real life able to slow down that rushing attack nor the passing game against Aaron Rodgers and company, and things don't get much easier. Dalvin Cook comes to town this week, or at least we go to his town as the Cowboys travel up to Minnesota to face one of the highest-ranked offenses in the NFL.
Cowboys Hit Sticks, presented by EA Sports, is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, and by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
So the Cowboys handed a loss against Green Bay in Week 10. Week number 11 doesn't get any easier. The 8-1 Minnesota Vikings are at home welcoming in those Dallas Cowboys. They've won 6 straight inside U.S. Bank Stadium. So let's take a look at the ground game. One of the big trouble spots for this Cowboys defense throughout the season And Dalvin Cook is certainly somebody you've got to keep an eye on. You've got Kirk Cousins at quarterback. And, oh, by the way, just this man out here on the edge, Justin Jefferson. It doesn't get much easier for the Cowboys. So, DC, where do you start in trying to slow down this Minnesota ground attack because they're so balanced overall?
Yeah, they're extremely balanced. You just mentioned some of the weapons they had, but that man in the backfield, Dalvin Cook, he is a grown man back there, one of the best running backs in the National Football League. So this defense has got to have their eyes on number 4 right there. But as we talk about this offense, what a lot of offenses are doing to this defense right now is they're trying to get to the perimeter. We saw Green Bay have a great plan as far as getting to the perimeter and capturing the edge against this defense. So they're pulling guards out there, they're pulling tackles and making sure that they can get that edge secured. So what they have to do, to me, to combat that is you have to get penetration. Those defensive linemen, whether they're interior guys or those second-level guys, LVE, Anthony Barr, Jabril Cox, whoever seems to be at that second level, they have to be able to get penetration to pick off those pulling guards, to pick off those pulling tackles, to make sure our guys on the edge can set an edge and force Dalvin Cook back into the lineup, back into the teeth of this defense. To me, that's what it comes down to, and we're going to try our hardest to contain that man, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, the word there was try.
Yeah.
Because you got a dog in there, and then they went out there and added another dog offensively in Hawkinson, okay?
Oof.
So he's another threat that you have to be concerned about, not only in the running game, but if they decide to go play action. And then what does it also coming out in a formation like this do? It isolates Justin Jefferson out there as well, okay? So you have a lot of things that you need to be concerned about as a Dallas Cowboys defense. But as you mentioned, those pulling guards, those pulling tackles, that's something that has been apparent in schemes going against Dallas Cowboys over the past few weeks. Back-to-back 200-yard games on the ground, and you best believe Minnesota's going to try to make it 3.
Without a doubt. Let's see what we can do. Okay, all right, pulling action.
Ooh!
Downhill.
Came and filled the gap. I was sure not about to hit that outside.
You thought you would.
Hold on. So listen up. This is exactly what Mr. DCBC was talking about. You guys see right off the back, okay, that we have these guards that are going to be pulling, okay? So right here, I'm going to snap the ball. Boom. As soon as you see that, okay, as a linebacker, you know right now, come downhill. Y'all see that natural gap in between there, in between the A and the B gap? Shoot that hole. That's the disruption that Barry's talking about. If you don't shoot that hole, look what can happen. You are going to allow this man to get to the outside with numbers, okay? But because of the fact that you shot the hole, run it back real quick, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and switch it to Mr. Barr here, who we hope to have back. All right, boom, we're going to rotate that around. Boom, this is exactly how he's going to see it. Boom, so right here, as soon as Barr sees that guard pull, what do?
Right downhill.
Come straight downhill, disruption. You see Kirk Cousins back, try to run straight through his back, right, DC?
No, without a doubt.
So right here, boom, disruption. That's exactly what you want, party in the backfield. Don't allow him to get going, because if he does, then you have to worry about all the other weapons that they have offensively.
And what I loved about that clip the most, there was no leaky yardage. Once he hit him at the point of attack, he went right down where he stood. That's what we got to get back to as a defense, tackling extra physical, and we're going to need that physicality against a guy like Cook.
Anthony Barr doing some work against his former team. He's been a little banged up over the last couple of weeks. However, this time around, he was able to plug the hole, showing that gap discipline that the Cowboys' run defense has been looking for. They're going to have to show some discipline on the edge as well. Justin Jefferson and this Minnesota passing attack are coming. Can you slow down him and Kirk Cousins when you hit them this week in Week 11?
This segment was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Hit Sticks from the Star in Frisco as the Cowboys get ready to face the Minnesota Vikings in week number 11. Kyle Yeoman's back with you. Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback breaking it down on Madden NFL 23. We take a look at the passing game. The Cowboys had some success against Kirk Cousins and company last year when they took on the Minnesota Vikings, as they had Justin Jefferson, just 2 catches, 21 yards. Adam Thielen, he got his fill, 6 grabs for 78. So DCBC back at it again, trying to slow down this Vikings attack. How do you slow them down with so many weapons across the board?
This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough because, like you said, they have a slew of weapons out there. You talking about Jordan Jefferson, Hawkinson, Thielen out there, not to mention Cook in the backfield. I mean, these guys are going to be difficult to stop. But the key besides getting pressure, because we know heating up the quarterback will mess things up, besides getting pressure on these guys, we have to disguise our looks. I feel as though you can trick Kirk Cousins into throwing you 1 or 2, maybe even 3. So we're going to go ahead and disguise our intentions out there. Who knows what I'm going to be in? Am I going to be up? Am I going to be back? Am I going to be sideways? Who knows what we're going to do? But I tell you one thing, we're going to be pressing these guys on the outside.
Yes. That's what I was waiting on. I wanted you to go ahead and cold press these boys
that's
because
what you want?
I have a ton of weapons on the outside. You
Okay.
see the boys out here. You see we just added our boy Hawkinson, okay, at the tight end position, just in case your safeties want to get a little froggy and leap. Okay, you see I got Justin Jefferson over here. And if you dare try to ISO Thielen, he will remind you of what he was over the past few years.
Ooh.
So I'm glad you stepped them boys up because you was sitting back there looking for the patio. Now you up here on the porch. So let's go to work.
Here we go. Okay. What we got going
we
on?
got Action
You sure?
Jackson.
You sure?
You got Action Jackson?
You sure? That's a user. That's a user, by the way.
No.
That is a user,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I see what
you
you
want to
did
run
there.
that back?
Of course I want to run that back.
All right.
Car Jackson, let's go.
I tried to tell you what was going down.
Okay.
In fact, let me go ahead and do a little something like this
Let me
real
get a little
quick.
razzle dazzle. I'm gonna make a couple of little options. I'm going to go ahead and hot route it. So I'm going to hit the X button. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on my receiver that I want to hit a little changeroo on. Or you want to press him outside
You
over
see
there
what's
too?
going on, too.
Yeah,
You
okay.
see.
Yeah, I'm hot routing everybody. Let's go to work.
Let's see what you got. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh! We forgot I had that man out there. We
All right,
forgot about
okay,
him.
one more time. Third
You
time's
sure
a
you want
charm.
this? You sure?
Third time's a charm. I'm gonna make a little alternate. Okay, let me go ahead and change something up real quick.
Better figure something out.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit this joystick real quick. I'm gonna go to this pass protection, and I'm gonna go ahead and send everybody to the left.
Slide
'Cause
to the left.
Yeah, I don't need number 11 coming after me. So
Okay.
let's make it happen right here. Ooh, yeah, I like that.
You
I
see,
like
you
it.
see who's on the outside press.
Yeah, I like it.
You
I
see
like
it.
it. We got our. Oh no!
no.
Oh no! Oh no! Not again!
Oh, no, not
Not
again.
again!
Not again,
Let's
Anthony.
go.
What's going
Just
on?
like that. Just like that. So you won 2 out of 3.
We did.
You know what I mean?
Can we
2
see
out of
what
3.
happened at the line of scrimmage?
You want to see that?
I want to see.
You
man,
sure
'cause
you want? Doggone.
My guy's been opening the gate lately.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know if
man.
you want to see this one right here.
Let's see what he got going on.
You want to see it from this angle? Or you want to see it from the other angle?
Let's see it from this one.
Okay, let's see
it.
right. Okay, right
see
here.
What you got.
Right after the line of scrimmage. Let's go to Justin Jefferson. First of all, don't man up Justin Jefferson. I really hope DQ doesn't do that because that's not the guy you want there.
That
You
ain't
need
it?
some help. You need some help because if you do man him up,
Look at his eyes.
oh, look at the swim.
What you looking at,
Oh,
AB?
just like the dude that used to play for
no.
Minnesota, throw the hand up, catch that right there.
no.
Yeah, we don't want to see that.
Not at all.
No,
not
at
on
all.
Sunday.
No.
No.
So Justin Jefferson with a ton of excitement on that one. Now, I do want to clarify something because outside leverage, look at where Anthony Brown is. He's right on that left shoulder of Justin Jefferson playing outside leverage, but they've got a single high safety in the back. So whenever you're in Madden, and of course, in reality, that's not necessarily a good combination, especially when you've got a guy as talented as Jefferson Berry. So why is that where things are set up, and how do you maybe try and combat that?
Well, this is why I threw Anthony Brown on the outside right here. We're in a cover 1 with a low rat zone, which means you're going to have a linebacker, whether it's LVE, whether it's Anthony Barr. He's going to be patrolling that middle of the field, making sure anything that comes inside, he can help you on. So where Anthony Brown messed up right here is he let his outside leverage go early, and he didn't even get hands on Jordan Jefferson right there. He let him just swim move him to the outside. He lost his leverage because on the inside, you got people to help. You're going to have an LVE. You're going to have an Anthony Barr in there to help you on the inside route. If he beats you to the outside like he does right here, extremely fast like that, you have no help out there. Your middle of the field safety is in between the hashes right now. You have no help on the outside. He's got to be able to funnel that back into his help defenders out there. The last place you want to get beat that quick is on the outside. He let it go, and that's why it happened for an easy touchdown.
All right, see, Barry, and I know you talked about using the funnel technique,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
You want to send everybody in. From this perspective right here, you want to send them into all those guys right there. You got 10 guys on your left side. The last thing you want him to do is go to your side where it's just you and the sideline. See, but from the receiver standpoint, I'm actually more threatened if you take away the inside.
Okay.
Just simply because what's on this left side?
The sideline.
The sideline, and I cannot go out of bounds, right? So if you sit on my inside and force me that way, I'm literally playing against a defender that runs the whole length of the field, right? So you could force me into a box that I would not have access to, right? If you decide to go in, boom, right here, now I have all the space in the world.
Yeah.
But had you sat inside and shadowed me and forced me to that sideline, now all of a sudden I'm in a world of trouble because I know the ball has to be perfect and get dropped in a little bucket in order for me to get a touchdown. But right here, As soon as you dive in here, like Trey Songz, it's game over.
Yep, you got to get his hands on him. Either way, he's got to get his hands on a receiver right there. You can't let him miss at the line of scrimmage that easy. Like you said, you got no help on the outside. That was an easy pitch and catch for the Vikings.
Christian Watson had some success against the Cowboys defense for the Green Bay Packers side of things in week number 10, doing that same exact thing, controlling the seam, taking that outside leverage, and of course converting on it for a couple of touchdowns. But the weapons aren't only on the Minnesota offense's side of things. Their defense certainly has some pieces as well. How can the Cowboys offense have some success when we come back here on Hit Sticks? Back here on Hit Sticks, the Cowboys got a win against the Vikings in 2020. They did so again in 2021. Both of those games did not have Dak Prescott in the fold. He's back here in 2022. How can the Cowboys continue that offensive success against the Minnesota Vikings in a defense, Isaiah, that has pieces at all three levels? It's going to be tough for this Cowboys offense.
It's definitely going to be tough. You see all those stars. We got 2 Star Spangled Banners over here, but they got at least 4 on that side. Okay, you got a Hunter at the first level, you got a Kendricks at the second level, you got a Pat P and a Smith. Ooh. So we got some work to do. We want to have an established run game because we know that off of the run we can pass. But if we do want to just line it up, we have to be able to win outside. Got
to be able to win outside. And I'm going to tell you what the Vikings are going to do. They're going to take a page out of Green Bay's book. They might run a little bit of 4, they might run a little bit of 2, but they're going to try to confuse Dak Prescott and confuse these wide receivers. We saw the miscommunications that happened last week in Green Bay, caused 2 interceptions out there. This defense, they're going to try to confuse them again.
All right, let's see what we got here. Looks like you in too high. Oh, you want to
play
around.
Safety,
you
right?
want to play around. Nah, I don't want CeeDee Lamb reading defenses no more. Here we go. Got him, coach. A little late.
Pat.
Oh,
that might have been a user as well.
Listen up, y'all. This is a heck of a route by CeeDee Lamb, but one of the things that you cannot be whenever you're messing with Pat P out there is be late with the ball.
Can't do it.
You have to deliver the ball before he actually breaks out of his route. I was late here, and you saw the consequences of those repercussions. Right? So right here, boom, CeeDee Lamb coming off the ball. Good job by Kendricks getting a good little bump. Now he's going to try to get widened out, take it to the sideline. Now, again, you're facing the sideline, and look where Pat P's eyes are right now.
On the ball.
Pat P's eyes right now are on the ball. His eyes are looking straight back. He can see what's going on before Dak can even get the ball to CD. Right here, underneath. Look at that. He got the twinkle toes into the toe tap, toe drag swag right here. Pat P will make you pay every day if you don't take care of business. But let's go ahead and run it back one time because I don't feel good about that.
Nah,
I don't feel good about that.
I wouldn't either. Let me go ahead and see what I can do right here. I'm going to go ahead and switch something up on you, though.
I'm going to try to take advantage of somebody else on your defense.
All right.
Ooh, you got to be quicker. Here we go.
Here we go.
Ooh, second level. Let's go.
No!
And if you want to stick on a CD, I got a Schulte for you.
Oh.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, there's too many weapons. As many weapons as you have defensively, Dallas Cowboys have that offensively. As long as Dak Prescott has time to deliver the rock, he can get the ball to his guys. Right here, you see it perfectly. Ball is snapped. Looks like you're in too high.
It's a user error.
You're playing quarters right now.
Oh, that's user error.
As soon as I see those cornerbacks drop back and they don't squat on the line of scrimmage, I know it's quarters coverage, which means I'm going to put that near safety in a predicament. I'm going to go ahead and zoom all the way up here real quick. Okay? You see this safety up here?
Man.
He is in a predicament. All right? So I'm going to put two tight ends on him. He has to make a decision which one he wants to go with. Look at the user. That's Barry Church right there. Terrible coverage by Barry Church with Smith, the disrespect. We'll go ahead and take it because we're going to get that 6 points.
I have nothing to say. User error.
So Dalton Schultz had his first touchdown against Green Bay, and if this is any indication, he's going to have another one against the Minnesota Vikings. The Cowboys trying to get back in the win column. Madden had him in the win column last week, but they came up with the loss. What does Madden think in guys versus the game when we come back? Back here from the Star in Frisco, wrapping up Hit Sticks in week number 11 with Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. It's time to do guys versus the game. We, of course, all picked the Cowboys last week. That didn't work out because the Green Bay Packers came out on top. But Madden finally picked the Cowboys, and well, the Cowboys lost. Let's see what Madden said this week around this Dallas Cowboys team. And it was another slow start for Dallas early on. Now, Trayvon Diggs helped kind of turn things around, though. He had an interception early. Lamb with a touchdown. He was called out of bounds, but then it was reviewed and changed to a touchdown. He had another touchdown in the third quarter, this time from 30 yards out, but don't go away just yet because Dalvin Cook and the Vikings didn't go away. A 1-yard run for Dalvin Cook. There was then a punt. Anthony Barr forced a fumble. Jabril Cox had a recovery, and then just the next play right after that, Dalton Schultz from 10 yards out. He had a touchdown, his second straight week with a touchdown because, of course, he had one against the Packers. And the final score, the Dallas Cowboys come out on top, 27-17 against the 8-1 Minnesota Vikings. So what do you think about the Cowboys? Can they get the win this week?
I think that they can, but I've been in Minnesota many days, and I think Minnesota is a tough environment to play in. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to overcome this one.
It's the third straight year they're playing on the road in Minnesota. They got the wins in the last 2 seasons. Can they do it again?
It's going to be a tough environment, just like Isaiah said. It gets extremely loud, but if they go back to that formula, sticking to the strengths, ground game, take care of the football, defense come to play, I think they'll get the victory.
Oh, man, I'm torn between this one. I'm going to split the difference. Give me the Cowboys to rebound, baby. I think they get it done, and I think the Cowboys can at least turn things around based off of how things ended up in Minnesota. For Barry Church, for Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. That does it for us here on Hit Sticks. We'll talk to you again next week.
Cowboys Hit Sticks, presented by EA Sports, was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.